everyone. So this is a channeled message. This is going to be out on release. This video is going to be released October 3rd. The reason for this particular date is because I feel like something is going to happen or has happened on October 3rd or within the week of October 3rd. So like the way that I'm seeing is like if October 3rd was in the middle of the week, like 7 days, up to 14 days to 2 weeks worth. However, I feel it's closer towards the 1 week mark. So 3 days prior to October 3rd or 3 days after, or October 3rd itself, it's a very significant date. That week is very significant. Now, this is a timeless reading, so if this was meant to find you at a later date, then I would think back to October 3rd around that week, or be expecting something to happen within the time frame leading up to the next October 3rd. That's in your calendar year. So there's that. I'm also seeing a significance to the number 4. And the way that I'm seeing it is the date. So 1 plus 0 plus 3 equals 4. But I'm also seeing the numbers 22 and putting 2 and 2 together to make 4. So there's a significance to specifically that number. I'm feeling an apology coming forward from your person. They're saying that they're sorry that they didn't act fast enough. It feels, the word specifically that I'm getting is swiftly. I didn't act swiftly enough. I didn't come forward swiftly enough. I didn't follow you. This is kind of what I'm seeing is like you either moved on, moved away, distanced yourself, and they were left behind because it was a failure to act. It was a failure to move forward. It was a failure to follow you. And I'm actually getting distracted a little bit. My energy is being pulled away right now because I can hear my birds in the other room flying around and talking. Let me actually go check on them right now through the door. But the reason I bring this up is because there's a distracting element to your reading. There's this feeling as if something had pulled them away from their intuition. Something was distracting them, or someone was distracting them, and it feels mostly themselves. When it really boils down to it, what distracted them was it's not an inability, but that's the way that they perceived it, was that they were unable to listen to their intuition. And it's much different from you because you are someone who is perceptive and intuitive, and you follow that inner guidance so that you are seemingly proactive about situations. It feels like there are often times where you feel like you have to have your guard up, you have to defend yourself, you have to be hyper aware of your surroundings and how people are, because that doesn't always accurately reflect the situation. So you really rely on your inner guidance. And this person is acknowledging this is something that they really admire in you. It's something that they love about you, and they love that you're able to perceive into them, because it feels like that's something that they've been searching for in a person. someone that they can feel very close and connected to, and that's something that they feel they lacked in this particular situation, is their ability to override their inner thoughts, insecurities, or just the rational mind, and to pay more attention to their perceptions, because had they honored that, they would have chosen a different path for themselves. They would have gone after you. They would have spoken up. And now they're in a place where they feel like they're out of control. Like the line of communication with you feels like, from their perspective currently, that it's severed completely. It gives me a sense of the divine, like divine intervention, or like Mother Nature, right? Like the force of Mother Nature is something beyond the capabilities of a human being. Like it's just so intense and so strong that when you're faced with the consequences of Mother Nature, you're at its mercy, right? That's essentially what I'm saying. And same with like divine intervention, you're at the mercy of divine. And so that's where they're at now. It's like before, when we were closer together, it feels like close proximity, like in person. And now there's a distance, a physical difference between you guys. And like there was some sort of chance that they felt they had a better opportunity for them to have communication with you, whether this is over the phone or in person, that is a lot more complicated currently, and they feel responsibility for that. They're taking full ownership of the fact that they could have taken initiative. There's this recognition that you stayed longer than you maybe should have, is kind of their perspective. It's like you stayed as long as you needed to, and even longer than that. And they're saying, well, like it was kind of longer than you even should have, because you were kind of waiting for me to change, or you would change my mind or change my behavior, something like that. And I was stubborn. There's a feeling of being stubborn. There's a feeling of being just like questioning themselves, questioning their mind. And it feels like you both are after the same things. Like you both share the same goals, but they just feel like you are so much further ahead than they are. And it feels like there's a change in their perspective now, where they're kind of coming to, they're not full circle realizing this, but they're very close to it. It's kind of like this, they're still going through this battle, a back and forth battle of really trusting themselves, and trusting their inner guidance, that you two have the common goal in mind. And yet the reason why you are so much more progressed is because you do work with divine. You work with your intuition. You don't spend the majority of your time denying it. And even if you feel that way in some aspects, the reality is that you really do follow your intuition, and it helps propel you forward. And so with them, they're resisting and resisting and resisting, that it's making things more difficult for them in their life, more chaotic. And they're basically having to learn the hard way that they should have listened. And so they're very sorry. So we have the Hangman, and that's where I see exactly what I explained, them making things more difficult for themselves because their refusal to see things a different way. However, they're coming to that conclusion that they have a choice. They had a choice and they have a choice. Even if it's in their eyes, it's too late. It's like they're connecting, they're aware that they're connecting through this separation with you. They're connecting to you on a higher level, a higher plane, which is something that either you've already told them about, or you've hinted at, or that's just the way that you kind of show up in the world, that it's kind of implied that that's something that you know, you're an empathetic person, you're intuitive, you're perceptive. That's the word that I keep getting from them, is you're very perceptive. And this feeling of, well, you don't need me. You don't need me anymore, but I want you so bad. You don't need me, and it's guilt. They feel guilty for their decisions, their inability to act, and where that's led them now, which is this being at the mercy of the divine, of Mother Nature. It's currently where they're at right now mentally, is this fixation on the should've, would've, could've's. It's like feeling like I denied fate. I denied, like, giving in to fate. It's like I felt like this situation was fated, and I should have done something different, and I rejected it. I denied it. I pushed it away. And now I'm suffering the consequences of it. And I'm very sorry, because they feel like they're looking, because they're communicating, they're observing you, and they are communicating with you. There's this part of them that's kind of back and forth, and they're kind of leaning on your energy of high vibrational energy. They're leaning on that to raise their vibration, but then there's still a lot of doubt in them. Like, is this really what I'm perceiving? Is this true? Is this accurate? Is this real? And then they're acknowledging that when they are listening in on you, or perceiving you, thinking about you, trying to figure you out, then they feel like you must be carrying the burden of their indecision. You must be carrying the burden and the consequences of their actions or lack of actions. And they feel very guilty about that. It's like, we could have had it all. We could have been so happy. I could have done so much for you. And I am aware of that. And I'm sorry that I messed it up. It feels like they think that they messed it all up. And there's this feeling from them of saying, like, can you be patient with me? Can you be patient with me, of like me trying to process this and process the necessary steps? Like, it's kind of, the way that I'm seeing is like divine steps, like the divine stairwell. It's like, can you help me by being patient and kind of dissolving in what way that you can the heaviness that I've brought you, and stay high vibrational, not just for you, but because this is their higher self, part of their higher self saying this, of like, part of your mission here on earth is to maintain high vibration and to experience things that are difficult, and being the example for people of what can be when you persevere. And so there's a part of them that's aware of this. There's a part of them that's aware that they are playing a part in being a negative example right now, for you, of them like resisting. Again, it's this resisting fate, resisting what they knew they should have done. And for you to continue forward, and like there's this acknowledgement, like you're doing a really good job at just being honest about the situation, being honest with yourself and like your needs and your desires, and becoming more like clear cut on what it is that you require in your life and the kinds of people that you surround yourself with. And that is teaching them and teaching others how to be a better person. Like you are a guiding light for a lot of people. And I'm hearing now's the time to remember. Now is the time to remember. When I say that, it brings me back to October 3rd, the week of October 3rd. So now meaning then, that time. The Queen of Pentacles is a repetition to, I mean, the Queen of Swords is a repetition to me of that clarity and kind of cutting through what it is that you truly want, like being clear with that. An Emperor of taking control of your life, taking initiative in what it is that you value and you require. People around you. The deck kind of got flipped around, so I ended up splitting it. And that's what I'm seeing here is the Ten of Wands and the Two of Swords reversed, which I think are just nods to what I was saying about you previously could possibly be currently, if you're currently feeling overwhelmed and overburdened by their energy, their low energy, that you're very close to closing that chapter, as not necessarily this chapter with them if that's not something that you desire. It's closing the chapter on this feeling of heaviness, this feeling of the indecision here of, do I hang on to the past or do I move forward? Do I reach out? Is there more that I could do? There's like these feelings of that, of like looking back to the past and wondering what you could have done differently or what should have been done differently. Just kind of reflecting on that and coming to the conclusion and realizing you did what was best for you at the time. There was nothing else that you could have done differently. You handled it just as you should have. You were following your inner guidance, even if you yourself had some doubts. Ultimately, you did things in the way that you were supposed to in this particular journey. And here with the Hierophant coming through of kind of that divine stairwell again that I'm seeing, of like things will happen stage by stage by stage. It's just try and be patient about it, which I feel that you are. It's just, here's the Eight of Wands, that swiftness that I'm feeling, a swiftness. And when I see the Eight of Wands though, it's them coming to the realization that they need to listen to the divine. They need to listen to their guardian angels, their soul family, their intuition, their higher guidance. Like they have to ask for help. They have to accept help. That's what I see. And it's going to happen very quickly for them, or it has happened very quickly. That's them looking at you. Here's repetition of the Hanged Man. They're looking at you, and you're guiding the way in the way that you conduct your life. They're watching you and learning from that. So yeah, there's this feeling of like you not needing them. They have this full admittance that they know that you will be fine irregardless of if they are in your life or not. And if this is something where you feel like you're grieving, and you feel like you cannot live without them, it's this reassurance from them, like no matter what happens or happen, no matter the circumstance, I am always with you in spirit. That's where we're connecting, right? And I do love you. I do care about you. I do miss you. I do wish I would have done things differently. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you cannot carry on in your life without me present. Like, that is still possible for you. But they want you to know, and your spirit guides want you to know, that you are going to be very happy. There is going to be cause for celebration. There is going to be, like, not just with the 9 of Cups here, which is fulfilled, but it feels lucky. It feels lucky. It feels blessed. It feels like you're at peace. It feels like you're letting your guard down. It feels like you feel safe again. It feels like you don't necessarily feel the need to be proactive. It's like that's who you are. That's how you are. But you feel so at ease knowing that you don't have to carry that responsibility. We have the Ace of Pentacles too. Like, this is, it's a helping hand for you as well from Spirit. It's like a gift is what I'm seeing. It's a gift from Spirit. They're gifting you. Spirit is gifting you on this journey. It's a gift of it's a gift of peace of mind. And I just saw, been recording out 2222. So once again, the number 4 and 4 right here. I see this as a gift of inner peace. True inner peace. Of serenity. Of going with what Spirit guides you to experience, to feel, to celebrate, to mourn, and feeling really good about it. Feeling like it's right. And knowing with the 8 of Wands, like, what did I pull behind it? The King of Cups. That, like, love, that's why I'm here. Love is right around the corner. When you least, it's not when you least expect it. But it is going to catch you off guard. It's like you're expecting it. It's like the way that I could best describe this is like if you were going to go on a coffee date with someone. So you knew that they were going to show up. You're waiting for them. But they just come in through a different door. So you're looking at the door. You're facing the main entrance. But then they just show up from a side door. And you're like, oh, I didn't know you were going to come through there. But I was expecting you. It's like that. It's a gift of perception. Like a deepening of perception. And a deepening of confidence in yourself. A deepening of like that reflection and preparation. It's like, I have this saying, because I used to be super forgetful, that future me is always caring about current me, because I would do things ahead of time to anticipate if I needed it when I would forget things. So I'd be like, where's the most responsible place that this particular object would be? Or, oh my gosh, I forgot to go buy something, and then turns out I bought extra just in case I forgot. So I see a parallel to that with you, in the sense that future you, like current you, I flipped it around on accident, but you get what I'm saying. Like current you is already taking care of future you. So, and then I look here, and the wheel and the world. I don't know, it feels very peaceful. You're going to be at a complete and utter peace. That's what I see. That's what Spirit wants to let you know. You're going to feel at peace. Don't dim in to fit in. How are you dimming your light in order to fit in? Are times where maybe if you're going through some difficult emotions, that is in some ways restricting your energy, restricting your light. And so continue to trust your intuition. Boundaries, where do you need to establish better boundaries? And I think this is more of just reassurance for you that in whatever the circumstances here, that you did apply boundaries, and they're acknowledging, and it's kind of like a spiritual pat on the back that you did a very good job at this, and you're continuing to do well and progressing in this. And yes, so if you have a question on your mind that you're asking, or you were thinking about something in particular, the answer to that is yes. So that's what I see for you, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.